You may have heard that killer whales are the apex predator of the ocean, but did you know the real master of the sea are the female killer whales? That's right, like a queen controls her kingdom, the matriarch controls her pod and all the decisions made within it, like migration routes, discipline, and pod hierarchy. I'm Madeline Pomas, and I'm here to tell you about how in the killer whale world, the alpha female calls the shots. In a pod that can range in size from 5 or 6 whales to 100, it can seem impossible to keep eyes on every single member. But for killer whales, that's the matriarch's job. She controls every action and movement made within the pod, depending on the seasons, if it's safe to breed, or if there's food accessibility. Now typically, killer whales are found in the Arctic regions of the world where it gets really cold. But sometimes the matriarch could move the pod if she feels that it's not safe or if there is a decline in food accessibility. And then there's discipline. Now when you get in trouble with the matriarch, it's kind of like getting scolded by your mom. She's mad at you for a little bit, but then she forgives you and moves on. When the matriarch is giving out punishment, she can do a couple different things. One of the main things she could do is ram her head into the side of another whale, which is kind of like a warning telling them to back off. And then there's another form that's a little more aggressive called raking. Raking is when the matriarch rakes her teeth across the side of another killer whale. Not usually hard enough to draw blood, but enough to leave a mark and send a message. Lastly, one of the most important aspects to the matriarchy system that killer whales live in is how it affects pod hierarchy. Now, in most families, the elders tend to outrank the children. But for killer whales, the matriarch's calves actually hold more authority than adult and senior whales. Now for this, we look back at the royalty analogy. For the queen, her heirs are most important because they are the future and survival of the kingdom. So for the matriarch, her calves are essential because one day they could be the future leaders of the pod. Now, looking at pod hierarchy with a more emotional perspective, killer whales are notoriously known for their close family bonds, especially the mother-calf bond, which is arguably the most important bond there is in killer whales. Now, if a killer whale matriarch feels that her calves are being disrespected in any way, she will act immediately, like any human mother would for her kids. She will even take on an adult male pod member, which can range from 9,000 pounds to 11,000 pounds compared to her 6,000 pound status. Like many human matriarchs, a killer whale will do anything to protect her young. Matriarchs are key to successful thriving pods. Without their leadership, the pod would fall apart and eventually the entire killer whale species. So next time you're trying to think of how to be a good leader, you may want to observe some of the qualities of these true alphas of the ocean. Thank you for watching.